Welcome to the Forest Analytics Landing Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Russell. In this podcast, we'll talk about how data and analytics are transforming the forest products industry. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Today, I wanted to update you on this podcast and to let you know that, at least in the foreseeable future, you won't be seeing new episodes published to this podcast feed. And the reason because of that isn't anything spectacular. It's really just my own personal and work priorities kind of moving into the second half of 2023. And so I did want to make mention of that you won't be seeing new podcast episodes, but that stay tuned because I suspect I'll be involved in at least some form of podcasts in the forestry kind of data analytics space here, within the next, maybe the next year or so. And so stay tuned for that. On a personal level, I have gained an incredible amount just by starting this podcast and by doing it and pushing new episodes every other week. It's been an incredible learning experience for me as I've learned how podcasts are produced, how people consume podcasts. I've gotten feedback from many folks interested in, or just letting me know about how they liked an episode or how they appreciated an episode on a certain topic. And so it's been a different way to engage, I think, with people out there. And of course, with podcasts, with the benefits of kind of listen on demand, whenever people are able to do that, I think that's been really valuable to a lot of people. And two, I think there's not enough podcasts in this space of forestry and data and analytics and statistics. And so I do appreciate folks that have given me feedback about how they appreciate the topics related to the podcast. So really do appreciate that. There are several podcasts. If you're still looking for podcasts, I'll give a few recommendations for ones that I regularly listen to, and I encourage you to check those out and to continue listening and ask about podcast formats for different things. I think podcasts are just an incredible way to learn new things. You can do the dishes, you can be on a run, be on a walk, and be able to listen and consume content. So I encourage you to ask others if they're interested in doing podcasts, and particularly in this space of forestry and analytics. I think there's a lot of demand for them and all that. I do want to say too that I'll still be writing quite a bit. And so if you haven't found me yet on like LinkedIn, I produce a LinkedIn newsletter every week on a specific topic. And so I'll include a link to that in the notes. I also have a monthly email newsletter, and I also write periodically for other outlets. And so that's where I'll be spending a lot more time here in the second half of 2023 is on my writing. And obviously in my day job and working with forestry companies and organizations and supporting them in their data and analytics needs. And so you can still find me on platforms like LinkedIn to help and to see what I'm up to. And so I encourage you to reach out to me there. Now, just to wrap up, I'll plug a couple of different podcasts if you're listening and you still want to learn more about forestry and data in that space. And so the first podcast I really love, I listen to just about every episode, is The Digital Forester. And this is a podcast by Kevin Lim from Lim Geomatics. He has a number of great guests on kind of in this space of forest technology, digital forestry, and just a wealth of information. Kevin I was a guest on his podcast. He's a great interviewer. He's an excellent, brings in excellent topics on really important ideas and, has a lot of thought leaders on, a lot of people in this space of developing new technology, implementing that technology in the digital forestry space. And so I really encourage you to have a listen to that podcast if you haven't found it yet. Another one I really like more on the forestry side is called Silvacast. And this is presented by a couple of people from the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. They have topics mostly related to kind of the forest management and silviculture side of forestry. But just two great hosts of that podcast. They usually have a guest on that usually talks about a specific topic. And it's just a great way to interact and to learn from people. And then another one is called the Forest Overstory podcast. That one is more focused on kind of the Western United States and talking a lot with landowners that are a part of them. And so I encourage you to have a listen to that one as well. And so that does it. So again, I'll include some notes for these shows into the show notes, and you can find them there. So thanks everyone for listening. I really appreciated it. I've gotten a lot of value out of providing this podcast. Hope you have a great day, and see you down the road. Thanks for listening to the Forest Analytics Landing Podcast. For more information on how data and analytics can empower your organization, visit arbor-analytics.com.